Hi everyone, I wanted to show a quick new 1-inch Markie traction engine that I bought. Here we're looking at it from underneath, of course. This is the burner, gas line comes in the burner. This is the water pipe from the pumps, comes in the back head. It's a Smithy's boiler, which means there's a copper boiler inside the main copper jacket, and there's a few water tubes there. Let's have a look from the back now. Okay, this is the back of the Markie then. On the left-hand side, on the left-hand axle, you can see there's a winch down there. That doesn't actually work, it's just for decoration. This is the steering, of course. The back of the boiler tees off. On the left there's a pressure gauge here, and on the right-hand side that's the steam pipe which goes up to the front where the engine is. I'll get to that in a minute. There's a water sight glass there. On the top of the sight glass there's another safety valve. There's a couple of safety valves farther forward as well. This is the main steam on-off switch, or valve I should say. It doesn't give any fine control, it's pretty much just on or off. Forwards is off, back is on. This is the forward and reverse lever to engage the gears, the Stephenson linkage I should say. On this side these are the drive gears, so this side is low gear and the other side is high. These engage a couple of cogs which slide back and forth and engage the gears to the drive wheel. Okay, there's also a brake back here, which I didn't mention, I forgot to mention. It actually does work to a certain extent anyway. And here's the waterworks of the whole thing. There's a tank underneath the belly that holds about 330 milliliters of water. There's a hand pump inside the water tank. There's also a mechanical pump on the end of the crankshaft here. These two valves, they open and close the pipes to the boiler. So to start off, we put some water in the belly tank there, open this valve which opens the pipe from the hand pump to the boiler, and then pump up some water, close that up again. And if we were running and wanted to top up some water, we would open this valve and the mechanical pump would pump water into the boiler. So this is the crankshaft, the Stephenson eccentrics there. This was the steam pipe coming up inside from the boiler, and that comes to this. This is the fine control valve for running the engine. There's a mechanical lubricator on the top. You'd fill that up with some oil. There's a couple more safety valves. Those actually work as well, but the builder, Tony Pierce, he's got it clamped down pretty tight. He says they're prone to leakage, so I've just left those how they are. There's a whistle here which also works. It's incredibly loud. It actually hurts my ears when it goes. There's not too much to show on this side of the engine. The smoke box door actually does open and close. Better to have it closed to keep a draft in the fire. There's a drain valve here as well, which open and closes, lets water out of the valve chest. And you can get a better view of the valve linkage here to go forwards and reverse. It slides up and down. And the flywheel, and that's pretty much it. And I got some extra parts for it. It came as the road locomotive, so it came with the canopy and the solid disc flywheel, but I also wanted to be able to make it look like a traction engine, so I got the spoked flywheel, and the tires come off, and there's some streaked pattern cut into the wheels underneath. Okay, that's about it for the tour. Let's build up some steam. Okay, to run the Markie, today I'll be running it just using a normal a gas bottle. It's a little easier that way. The first thing we need to do is get some water into the boiler. So we'll fill up the tanks. There's no direct port to pour water into the boiler on this thing. You have to actually pump it in from the tank here. So we'll fill that up. And this might take a while, so bear with me. That pump handle, it's actually pretty short. It's difficult to get in there, and when the engine comes up to boil, because it's so close to the firebox, the water gets very, very hot. So I've made this little extender handle so to keep my fingers out of it. So we just open up this valve, which opens the pipe to the boiler. But these valves both have check valves on them too, so that we don't actually need to close them all the time, but never mind. So we'll pump up some water into the boiler. This is going to take a while, so I'll get back to you in a minute. Alright, the next thing is to get the fire going, so we turn the gas on. My wife donated this little mirror from her makeup bag, which really helps to see the fire underneath. Turn the gas on. Let me get the lighter going first. My lighter is a little bit iffy. Good. Okay, we're going. So we open the smoke box just to let the fumes out until we get a draft going from the steam. Not sure if you can see the fire. There we go. Alright, so now we just have to wait. It'll take, I think, around 5 or 6 minutes to build up enough steam to get running. So until that happens, I'll be back. Okay, we're up to 60 psi. Should be plenty to drive the thing. We'll open the steam valve. Okay. Ouch, that's hot. Okay, that goes. And we're in forwards. Open the steam valve. And we're off. As it's running, you can see there's a ratchet mechanism attached to the valve gear which turns this little wheel, and that's operating a little pump inside the oiler which pumps oil down through this one-way valve and into the valve chest. And when it's running, there is a bit of fine control as well. With this valve here, you can pretty much close the steam off. Just have a little bit of steam coming in. And the engine, it'll just chug along. It's not completely run in yet. It's still a little bit stiff. Doesn't run really, really smoothly. But you can get it down to just a low tick over. If we wanted to get some more water into the boiler, I put enough in just to get running. We'd have to open the valve and plug up that vent hole. That should start the water pump. The engine slows down quite a bit when the pump is running too. But that's okay. Okay, so let's take it outside and go for a drive. Let's give it a try with the canopy on. I'm sure this is going to make it almost impossible to drive. Okay, I personally like it with these, without the tires, with the machined metal wheels. Let's give it a try. Well, I'll tell you, it's quite a handful to keep up with this thing and hold the camera and steer at the same time.